You're an asshole if you don't give employees chairs. A lot of retail employees don't have chairs and are only allowed to sit down in their breaks. I'm sure this is so to customers the employees look professional. But you know what looks more unprofessional than sitting down? Leaning on stuff, rocking back and looking uncomfortable. Plus it's just going to make them find somewhere to hide where they can sit down. There's absolutely no good reason an employee who stands in one place for a large portion of their job to not have a chair. I work at a gym and have to stand for 5 hours a day. It's ridiculous that they don't give us stools to sit on. We're also not allowed to lean on counters, otherwise we will get written up by the managers, who get to sit in their office most of the day. Their motto is if you have time to lean then you have time to clean, but how many times can one clean the front desk? We're assigned stations, so if you're at the front desk you have to stay there for an hour and not leave. My manager said she used to go into the janitor's closet and sit bc her legs would hurt, but now she's cracking down on that. LOL, the irony. As a lifeguard I am not allowed to sit. I work an 8-hour shift where I cannot sit or pace or wear shoes. I sat on the edge of the pool because my feet began to hurt so much at night I couldn't sleep. My boss told me sitting on the edge looks even more unprofessional than in a chair, but still won't get me a chair because he thinks I won't focus and do my job if I sit. I want to reply to the email. Wow, how did you focus long enough to type that out if you're sitting at your desk? That must be so distracting. I have flat feet, which means I can't stand still for too long without my feet being in pain. So many of my past employers demanded we stand no matter how little business was going through. Even in a job where I didn't work anywhere near customers, I wasn't allowed to sit despite sitting being helpful and conclusive to my work, and it was taboo to sit even if you had to wait up to 30 minutes for a supervisor to clear something. Every job I've had like this led to one thing always happening. Employees going to the bathroom several times a day for periods of 10 to 15 minutes, some even going for 45 minutes if they weren't in good shape, just so they can sit and rest their feet. It's absolutely stupid not to let employees sit just because you want to look professional. A lot of people in Mangleman see sitting down as being lazy and / or not working. The business owner of one of my first jobs was like this. If you weren't on your feet and moving, you were wasting his money. Doesn't matter if you were bending over a desk, and could do the job much more effectively and efficiently sitting down at that desk, he still wanted you standing. I actually got fired for sitting down at a desk to do a job at waist height that would have killed my back to do standing. Fucking idiot, he was. I have to agree with this. My mother is in her mid-60s and she has severe arthritis. She had worked for the same company for 15 years, standing at a table sorting garments. This is a back-of-house job where customers don't even see her, but the company had a no chairs rule, and required everyone to stand. She was in so much pain, she begged her boss to make an exception. It was a big no, unless she got a statement from a doctor saying she needed to sit down. No one who works there can afford to see a doctor, so it's kind of a joke to even ask that. She had to resign over it. But if we give our employees chairs, they'll be sitting all day. Meanwhile, I'm working at a gas station at 3 a.m. and haven't seen a customer in 2 hours. I have always worked retail in the UK, never allowed to sit, always stand, always did the unprofessional leaning and sitting on radiators, etc. Oh wait, I was legally allowed access to a chair when pregnant, so if I really needed to sit down I could go to the back of the shop, move the stepladder and some other junk to get to the fold-out chair, and I was allowed to sit in the gap between the back of the shop and the fire exit. Blocking the fire exit. Standing is okay if you're busy, it sucks if you're not. Every time I see a cashier who has a chair I make a mental note. Once we exit, I'll ask whoever I'm with if they noticed the cashier was sitting down. Their response? Are you sure? I didn't even notice. Customers don't notice stuff like that, and we sure as hell don't care. I would rather shop at a store where the people working there are happy. Then shop at a store where the people there are professional miserable. I just slav squat. Yet it's medically not a good idea to stand for hours at a time. The body is not meant to stand that long. BC walking is how you can get blood back to the upper portion of your body. This is why people can pass out if they stand for long, i.e., military. I worked a retail job in a mall for a couple years at one of those little kiosk stands. We sold body jewelry. There was a chair at each kiosk for the employee meant to manage it, like provided by the mall with the kiosk stand. My managers told us we were not allowed to sit during our 8-hour shifts except for breaks or lunch. Still sat down all the fucking time. It didn't work out too well when George Costanza gave a chair to a security guard. When I was pregnant, I got written up for grabbing a stool from the back to sit on during my 8-hour shift. At a hospital gift shop, I had to provide a note from the obstetrician. When I told my OB this, she scoffed at the ridiculous policies of some places, and she told me she had to write a note for another pregnant lady who worked at a grocery store and needed to use the bathroom more frequently. I feel this in my soul. I work hotel FD. If I sit, it's after my manager leaves, and I'm the only one here, lol. Since us complaining as employees obviously doesn't make a difference, what if we started complaining as customers? Ask for a manager when we're at places that won't give their employees stools and bitch about how unprofessional it is. I worked at Walmart as a door greeter, and I told my manager I had a chronic pain condition that requires me to sit down sometimes. He said if I provided a doctor's note he would provide a chair for me. After obtaining said note, he went back on it, saying that it looks bad and what do I need to sit down for anyway, I'm too young to have chronic pain. I was 18 at the time and I've had this condition since I was 8, so I was forced to stand 8 hours a day without sitting or pacing or even leaning against something. My pain doubled within the span of a week and I wouldn't be able to move once I got home.